Yo, what is up guys, this is Ripper and here with another video for you guys today. And guys, today I'm going to officially be talking about the update that has officially came out for Call of Duty. Now this update was a Warzone and Black Ops Cold War update. This was not just a single game, this was both games. Now in a sense, I'm going to say this, obviously you have different content for each game, such as different, landing locations or POIs for Warzone. And then you have like new maps for multiplayer, but the one thing they have in common was they were touching up the weapons. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about that today with a little bit more of the updates. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like on today's video. Be sure to just subscribe and turn on bell notification if you're new. Also check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/xripper. And on that note, let's hop straight into it. Alright guys, so let's just start off with the actual nerf slash buffs that happened to this game. Mainly with snipers. I know that there was like other ARs, SMGs and stuff like that were touched, but at the end of the day, like, I'm here for snipers. My channel's focused on snipers, so that's mainly what we're going to focus on today. So what did they buff? What did they nerf? All that. So the M82, let's just start off with M82. They basically buffed the M82, which, if I'm being 100% open and transparent with you all, I am perfectly okay with them doing that. Here's why. Because in my opinion, the M82 was a pretty bad gun. Now, obviously, I think when the M82 first came out, it was way worse. Then they did a little, I guess, a semi-buff, you could call it. So they did a little semi-buff. And then this one came out to make it an even better buff. Now, what did they do? Let's just say they basically made the ADS a lot better. So the ADS isn't as bad anymore. It is a lot better. I can openly say, in my opinion, it definitely feels better. The second thing that they did to the M82 is they basically went after the damage and kind of like semi-touched it. I don't even know if you would call it a nerf or a guess buff, I don't know, but they touched up damage, which was kind of weird. Whatever. Now the big things that all snipers have in common that I really want to talk about today is, in this update is going to go to all snipers. They fucked up and made sure to rebalance the attachments. When I say fucked up, I mean they found every way possible to get rid of the meta attachments. And why is that? Well, I have a theory. Because the game, after so long, will get very boring. Do I blame them for being like, yeah, this game's gonna get boring if we don't touch the attachments? No. So what did they do? They touched up Tiger Team Barrel, isn't as super good anymore. Also, Tiger Team Spotlight isn't super good anymore. There's now a sprint to fire time minus that you're getting. So now like mounted flashlights to go to. Also, recently Airborne Elastic has officially been replaced with Serpent Wrap. This goes for Warzone and for Cold War. Also, they made the Swiss K31 basically the Kar 98. I mean, it is basically the only gun that can compete with the Kar 98 currently in Verdansk. Reason being, the ADS is basically as fast as a Kar 98, which, in my opinion, is a great thing to have happened, because now the Kar 98 isn't the only top sniper. Like, there's now other guns in the fucking market, which should have happened a super long time ago, in my opinion, for Call of Duty. Next thing to talk about in this update, obviously, maps. So two things. Let's start off with this. Obviously, let's start off with Standoff. Standoff returned. And guess what? They didn't ruin it at all. They didn't touch it at all. They basically made it the exact same with, I don't even know if they like reskinned it, in my opinion. Obviously it's brighter in a sense, but it really feels identical to BO2, which is good because, you don't want to mess up one of the top 5 best Call of Duty maps of all time. You know what I mean? So it's like, GG's for them for not doing that. And I'm very happy that they didn't. Secondly, in this map update, they also added a new thing to, I think it's called Fire-Based Team or some shit like that, Fire Team. I'm not a super big Fire Team player, but they did add a section on there as well, which coolio for them. I'm happy. Also, they're going into zombies as well, which is pretty dope. So they're looking at adding an area for zombies and different objective missions and stuff. So looks like zombies is still getting some love, which is very good. And especially like, and I don't even play zombies, but especially for the Call of Duty community, zombies should never be forgotten, whether it be, you know, whether it's good or bad. Like, zombies should never be forgotten. So I'm happy that they're at least working on touching up and making sure zombies are also very happy in this update as well, with new objectives, new Easter eggs, stuff like that. Now, another thing I have to say. So, something that has been going around is everyone saying, oh, there's a sniper nerf, in a sense, as they're calling it. Let me make something clear when I say this. This sniper nerf is the most non-existent thing I personally have seen. I think that this supposed sniper nerf is all just a scare tactic, because in my opinion, I just don't see where this at all is even bad. I think them touching up the attachments was a good thing, and I know a lot of people were kind of hating on them for, like, for example, the Tiger Team Spotlight now isn't as good as just like a mounted flashlight, or Airborne Elastic is no longer good as just throwing a Serpent Wrap on. So like, a lot of people were kind of upset about that, but like at the end of the day, in my opinion, it was a better choice for the longevity of this game, at least. And another big thing that they did to Cold War, now I'm not going to spend too much time on this topic, but I'm going to still talk about it because it's still part of the update. They added a thing called Die Hardpoint, which, if you guys don't know what Cranked is, basically how Cranked works, or how Cranked back then worked, was you kill somebody, then you have like 20-30 seconds to kill somebody again, otherwise you blow up. Right, and so it's just kind of like a really fast-paced game mode, forcing you to constantly stay in gunfights, kind of avoiding, it kind of defeats campers in a sense, because you cannot camp in Die Hardpoint without, you know, killing yourself at the end of the day by doing it. So I think that's a pretty decent game mode, and trust me, I made sure to play the actual game. Like, I played the game mode. I've played this game for hours yesterday ahead of time before making this video, so I can give you an honest opinion of what do I think of the stuff. And so I think the Die Hardpoint was a decently well-made game mode. I think if you liked Cranked, you'll love it. As a sniper, I don't think that's it. I don't think it's the sniping game mode. If you're looking for a game mode to like play sweat with the red guns, then I think it's, you know, a good option. And another big thing that came to Cold War with this update was weapons. So I want to talk about this, and this will probably be the last topic I talk about for at least Cold War side. We were talked about and promised 3 new weapons. We have essentially 2 melee side weapons, and then we have a actual gun weapon. So let's just say we got a bat, which in my opinion, I give 0 fucks about. I don't really think there's a lot of hype behind it. Then we got ballistic knives, which are more just kind of like a cool, fun little thing to put. I ran into it a few times. It's really fucking annoying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of them, like versing them, because all they do is fucking rush you, and I hate up close battles sometimes. So from sniper perspective, I don't like it, but I actually understand why they brought it into the game, because to be fully and openly honest with you, there is a market of players who are definitely going to enjoy it, and especially for like the knife feeders, I imagine them actually hitting some pretty decent clips with the ballistic knives. But what's the big issue with this update? What's the one serious negative I have towards this update, specifically to Cold War? Well, here's my issue. We were promised a fully auto pistol. Now, you may be asking, but wait, didn't you get one already? Yeah, that was called a Psychov, and that was for Modern Warfare. We were promised a fully auto pistol for Cold War. Now, it never came out. They basically said, without warning, hey, this is an in-season weapon. Now, last time I checked, guys, and I may be wrong, but so you know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I thought we were pretty much in season. I mean, I don't even know. I'm pretty sure the Battle Pass doesn't even have that much time left on it. So for them to say, hey, we're now releasing it in season is kind of like a D-bag move of them. In my opinion, I think it's a cheapskate move. At the same time, if they were smart, they would release it Owerk made a pretty good point yesterday on stream. He said if they release it now, they have more time to balance it. And I totally agree with that too. I think if they were to release it now, they're saving themselves a lot less stress, because less time for people to complain about it. They could get it fixed by this weekend. I mean, there's shit that they could do to make it better, right? So it's like, for them not to release it and wait last second to release it, I just think is really fucking stupid for a company that wants to, you know, give us new content. It's like, you waited all the way till mid-season just to give us fucking Standoff, and then you aren't even gonna give us the new gun with the update. It's like, why? It just doesn't make sense. And I think it's like a cheap way for them to kind of say a screw you move without actually saying, hey, we're not going to give you the full update. But overall, guys, the Cold War update wasn't all bad. I do think the Cold War update as a whole was a pretty good 7 out of 10. I think, again, there was things they could have done to make it better, but in the long run, I do and will argue this update was pretty good for Cold War. I honestly would argue Cold War had a more W update than Warzone, and that may bother some people, but this is coming from a person who plays Warzone and Cold War pretty much equally when it comes to like the time put in. So at the end of the day, I do think Cold War got more of a bigger W in the situation. I mean, Warzone, you know, we're gonna check it out a little bit more, but at the end of the day, just giving us new locations isn't gonna be enough to make it good. And until we see little things thrown in, such as, you know, anti-cheat, you know, stuff like that, Warzone's just gonna go downhill. So at the end of the day, Cold War update, pretty good. Give it a good 7 out of 10. Again, there's little things they could do to make it better. If they release this pistol, I'd actually give it an 8. If they release the pistol and just released everything in one whole setup, 8 out of 10, guaranteed. At the same time, it'd be nice to actually start the level up for the pistols and all that stuff. And also, let's not release only melee weapons. Let's start releasing more guns. Like, you know, there's so many more things you can do other than releasing, you know, like 2-3 melee weapons and a single gun. It's like, no, release more guns and like a single melee weapon. Sorry, melee weapons aren't that popular on this game though. It's just stupid as shit that that's like their motto and think, oh, this is the best decision. I don't understand that idea, but hey, what do I know, right? I'm just an actual player. So whatever, I guess screw the community on their perspective on that. But hey, let's hope the Warzone update isn't the end of what they're going to release for Warzone. And I'm excited to see what they have more for Cold War, and we'll see what happens.